I'm going to edit this out. I'm going to say this is a function. Okay, let me create this code, then I'll explain you what I really mean by what is function is. Okay, so now what is happening here is I'm gonna say this is how the function starts. I'm gonna give a name. The name of the function is a variable. Okay, you could give whatever you want. So I'm gonna say function is Chicago, and then starts with open and close parentheses, and then starts with a curly bracket and ends with the curly bracket like this on a second line. Okay, in between these two curly brackets, whatever you put it in here goes, you have to put in commands or whatever you want to put in as a chunk of code, it will go in here. Okay, so in here for now I'm going to just put some commands here. Okay, who, uptime, df-h, pwd, hostname, and if I save and exit and I'm going to run the function, so if I run it, nothing is happening here. Okay, so even though we put it something in there, so what you have to do is this part of code here is a function here. So but what you have to do is you have to call the function. So what you have to do is you have to say something like this. If you want to run the function, this is how you say it. Okay, you have to go on, and here you have to say something like this. You have to call the function here. So this part here is a function here. It is just sitting there and doing nothing until you call function here. So what will happen is the script will run this. It's kind of like this is kind of like an alias, but in here it will actually, you could put some code in here. Okay, I'll show you in a minute. So what is happening here is we did Chicago, and this part is part of the script here, but it's not going to execute unless you say Chicago here. We just saw that. Okay, so I'm going to run the function. Now whatever you have inside that code is going to run now. So let me paste this here. Okay, so let's define function here. Okay, so what is function? It is a small chunk of code which you can use multiple times in your script. Okay, and it is useful if you have certain tasks which need to be performed several times. Okay, so I'm going to say syntax here. What is the syntax of a function? Okay, first you have to give a name of a function. In this case, the name we give here is Chicago here, okay? So we just came up with the name. And you have to type like this. And then a tab. And then open curly bracket, close curly bracket. In this curly bracket, all your code goes in. And then you have to give to actually give me 1 second here. Okay, so to actually run the function, actually run or execute function, you have to just name it here. Just type it out, the name of the function here, just this part, okay? Nothing else. So here name followed by parentheses. Okay, so what will happen is you are telling, if you give a syntax like this, then script will recognize this as a function. Okay, and then you could put your code in here. It could be thousands of lines. It doesn't matter. Okay, as long as you do this, it will do it for you. Okay, so you're opening curly bracket, you're closing curly bracket, and in here it's running it. And this part you have to call the function here. To actually run the function, this is what you have to do. Okay, so what we did was name of the function. Over here we gave the name of the function Chicago. Okay, and then we open the curly bracket and we close the curly bracket here, right? So here the syntax follows: open the curly bracket, close the curly bracket, and in here you could put the code whatever you want in there. So instead of code, what we did here is we put name here. or the commands. Okay, so what you could do is you could definitely go up here. You could put all these things in there, okay? What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna find a little if statement and then I'll demonstrate to you how that is working, okay? So let's see here. I think yesterday we did case before was it after case? Okay, let's put something in here, okay? You don't have to put bin bash. All you have to do is you have to put this part in here. Alright, so I'm gonna save and exit. What I'm gonna do is vi copy function.sh to function2.sh, okay? I'll go in here, I'll leave everything alone. I'm gonna get rid of this part, and in here I'm gonna put in the code, okay? There you go. I put in the code here, and one more time I'm gonna delete Chicago here. I'll give it some other name here, okay? Just for it to just so you know, you could make up anything you want. Okay, I'm gonna give it a name comparison. Okay, I'm gonna save and exit, and if I run function2.sh, nothing happened. Why nothing happened here? What is it I'm doing wrong here? What is it I'm doing wrong here? So what I have to do is, if you want to execute this part here, you have to copy this part and paste it here on the bottom. That's it. So now the script is there. I mean, the code is there, but this part is going to get executed in here. When this execute, it will execute this, okay? Now if I run this function2.sh, now it says enter a number between 1 and 5. I'm going to put a number here. I'm going to say 1 and hit enter, and it says you entered odd number. So it's actually running this script in here, okay? Alright, I'm going to stop here and ask you guys a question. I'm going to give it a 1 minute pause and then ask for a question. Give you a chance to ask a question here, okay? So let me bring this up here. All right, tell me if you have a question here. It's clear, right? So far it's clear?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So in here, I'm telling you, you could put thousands of lines in here, okay? It doesn't matter. As long as you call it up and it's gonna run it for you. Can you run it? Can you run it multiple times in there? Why not? You paste it couple times in there, and then in this scenario is gonna run 3 times. In this scenario is gonna run 3 times here. Okay. So let's go ahead and execute it. Enter a number. All right. So it's running now the second time now. Okay, it ran 3 times because we are calling the function 3 times. Similarly, you could define multiple functions in here, and you could make it run those functions many times. So what I'm going to do is it will run 3 times. Because why? Because we have nothing else to do. We are running this 3 times. That's what is happening. Okay, let me clear the screen. Okay, now let's go ahead and I'll show you how you could do it multiple times here. Okay, so what I could do is
I have a question, Mr. Zafar.
yeah, go ahead.
Can you execute the function you created without executing the file?
I don't see how that is possible. I mean, you have to execute the file here, right? When you execute the script, then it's going inside the script and executing each line. So you're telling me, can you run this as like comparison
Yes.
at the command prompt?
Yes.
All you have, it had the system need to know where the comparison is coming in from. So earlier I did mention, yeah, I see why you're saying that here. So all this has to be in, let's see if this works like this. Okay, all right, so let's go ahead and put all these lines in there. We might have to do this too. Okay. Now I'm going to run comparison here, okay? It ran. That's a very good question, man. You got a job. So you have to run it on the command prompt, CLI. I never really tried that before, but it is working.
Okay.
So what I said earlier is the script is actually extracting all this and running it on the CLI. So this is coming. This is true statement that it is extracting, opening it up, and running it on CLI, and then it's executing it. So guys, whoever, I think one time I told you what the script is actually doing is opening up this script file and running it each line on the command line, and then you get the answer here. So what is happening here, when you ran this from here to here, it gave you a chance so that you put this in the memory. Whenever this is running, it's saving it in the memory here. Okay, and then when you run the comparison again, now that you have defined comparison on the CLI, it remembers it and it will run it for you. So as long as the computer is up and running, unless you clear it, it's gonna continue working. Okay, all right. Let's go back up here. All right, let's move forward here. So now what we're going to do is so I'm going to copy this function function 2.sh to function 3.sh. Okay, and then I'm going to go vi function 3.sh. So what I'm going to do here is we have comparison there, and then over here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this Chicago function in here. Okay. So which function will run first? Chicago function will run first, okay? So if we have this here, you could have as many functions as you want in here, and you're calling these functions here. So I'm going to run this. So it ran the Chicago function first. Now it's on to the second comparison function here. I'm going to do this. Okay, and then you could change around the function, which one gets executed first. Just change the number up here and down here. So what will happen if I just delete this function here? Which function is going to run if I do run this here?
Chicago.
Yeah, only Chicago will run. The other one will not run because we are not telling it to get executed there. Okay, so we got multiple function here. Now I'm going to say function for.sh. Okay, so this one I'm going to show you how to have a global function here. Okay, so let's see here. What you could do is you could have a global function and a local function here. So I'll tell you what I mean by that. Okay, good. So let's see here. Let me save and exit. So I'm gonna go cp template function for.sh, vi function for.sh. So I'm gonna say this is so this is a example of global and local. So what is this global and local means? This means functions are nested inside each other. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to declare a function. I'm going to say function global, and then I'm sticking to the so this is the syntax here, and in between in here it goes everything you want in here. Okay, so I am using a little tab here so that it looks easy on our eyes. So I'm gonna say echo this is a global function. Okay, and in there, then now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open another function in here. I'm gonna say function local. So what is happening here is this function is nested inside the function here. So I'm gonna do the same thing, and then I'm gonna keep a tabs in here so that it looks nice. So in here I'm gonna say I'm just running the echo command here. Echo this is local function. Then I'll go select echo the code goes here. Okay, and so what is happening here is the function is getting closed here. End of local function. And here, what is happening here is start of local function. And here is a start of global function. Now I'm gonna run the function here. So what I have to do is I have to copy and paste it in here. So let's run the function and see what happens. Uh-oh. Let's fix that first. Okay, over here I need to put in quotes. Okay, it says this is a global function here. But what is happening to this part? Why is this part not showing up here? Anybody? Anybody? It's right in front of you. You guys could see this.
एक फंक्शन को कॉल करे दूसरे फंक्शन को कॉल नहीं करे सब कॉल बैक करा.
Very good. But where am I going to call it?
जहाँ उसको कॉल करना अंदर फंक्शन के अंदर ही कॉल करना पड़ेगा.
Yes. Very good. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is, now to call this part of function here, I have to put it right there. I have to put it right there. Okay, I'm calling it local function from right there. Okay, so I'm going to save and exit. Now what will happen is, when I run this here, it will run it now. It's a global function, and this code goes here. What if I do this here? What will happen is it will run this code 3 times before it cancels out. See, it ran it 3 times here. 1, 2, from here to here is 1, here to here is 2, and here to here is 3. Why is it running 3 times? Because we are telling it to do so 3 times. It executes the global function here, and then within that global function there is a local function here, and then it's running 3 times here. So what if I change this around? So let me go ahead and put this in here. Okay, so a local function is getting executed in here. Okay, so to give this in perspective, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put like Chicago here. So I'm gonna save and exit here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna copy this. Copy function file.sh vi function file.sh. Here what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna paste here Chicago here. So in this scenario, this global and Chicago, they both are global functions. Okay, okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna delete this part. And then I'm gonna oops, over here I'm gonna call it a global function. So as I mentioned earlier, you could call the function whenever you want. Okay, in this case I'm calling Chicago first before I call the global function there. Okay, also in here you could have more functions in here. Over here, before you call it, you could have more functions in here. What we could do is we could actually stick this function in there. Okay, the comparison function. Alright, so for it to look good on the eyes, I have to close this. Alright, this doesn't mean anything here. This is just for our visual here. It looks good on the eyes. That's what I'm doing this. Okay, so it looks easier to read on the for us, right? Now what I'm going to do is let's try to call this comparison function here down here and see what happens. So if I run this function 5.sh, okay, so it ran the Chicago function. Okay, and then it's running the second global function here. Okay, and then that function canceled out here. Okay, so what happened here is so in here the global function, you could still, if this is a part of this function here, you could still call this function down here. Okay, it also reads down in here too. Or what you could do is you could get rid of this here and then run it here. So now what will happen is it will run the local function, then comparison, then it will run Chicago. Oh no, it will not run Chicago. What will happen is, yeah, the Chicago will run first unless you do this. Okay, so Chicago is not going to run yet. I'm going to put 1 in there. Now Chicago has ran. Okay, so it's not too complicated. It is very easy.
Could you go back into function 5, please, so we can see the script?
Yeah. Give me 1 second here. Let me copy this. Okay. So now you could see you could put thousands in there and it will work just fine. Okay. Is that good enough or you want to look at it again? Yeah, I mean, you could look at it once we're done with the class. I'll make it public. All right, so what do we got next here is so here start of local function. Okay, and then this is where the function is executed. It doesn't have to be in order. You could put comparison first. Or if you want to turn off one function, you could definitely do that. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna write one simple function that we with input parameters. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start a totally different file. And then I'm going to say function6.sh function6 dot okay, I'm going to say here this is a function with input parameters. Okay, what is input parameters? Nothing but it's gonna ask us to, and we're gonna use read command and all that here. Okay, so it's not gonna be too big. So I have already one of this here that it will calculate the age, right? So I'm gonna give the name age cal in days. So I'm gonna creating a function in here, okay? In the middle here, the code goes in here, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say echo hello. So what is happening is when the function is gonna go, what is it gonna say? Is gonna ask for the user to put in the age. Okay, enter hello dollar username. User NAME your age is no, what it is hello. What's happening is we will run the function and execute this script, and it will ask the user to put in the name and the age. What will happen then is it is going to calculate this for you using the function. So it says hello username, your age, then the name of the user, dollar user age. This is something I'm making it on the fly. So the echo command is closed here. The second echo command, your age in days is. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna do some math here. So we're gonna do backtick, and I'm gonna do expr expression. So what is the expression I'm gonna do? It's gonna be user age. So if your user put in 20 years, then we're gonna multiply 20 years with 365 days, and then I'm gonna close this. Outside the function, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say echo enter your name, okay? It's telling you to enter your name, and it's gonna give you the read. Then what you're gonna do is username. This is the, what is the username in this scenario here right now? This is a placeholder. What did I say placeholder is? Placeholder is a variable. Yes, very good. And then I'm going to say echo here so that it looks good. I'm going to say echo, enter your age. Read user age. Now I'm going to call the function here. So it says enter your name. I'm going to say Linux. And then enter your age. I'm going to say how long it's been now. Say 60 years, right? So it says, hello Linux, your age is 60 years old. Your age, 60 years old, your age in days is going to do the math for you. So where is all this coming in from? All this is coming in from here. Okay, so once you got the idea here, you could get creative and do whatever you want to do. It will work just fine. Okay, so this will bring us to the end of the scripting. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna show the scripting in a reality, how the scripting works. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is we could go in let me just save this here.
अब ये बैच का टाइम चेंज हो गया, ये सब चेंज हो गया, उसके सब चेंज हो गया सब ये
ऑफलाइन बात करेंगे.
ओके.
Okay. DFF and H. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna write a script so that we'll create a LVM using a script here. Okay, how about that? Okay, so what you could do is you could definitely create LVM using the script here. So we'll write one script and we'll create the LVM we have done earlier, right? So what do we have here is SDD1 So what we'll do is we'll write a simple script here. Lvm okay, so we use 3 hard drives, 1, 2, 3 there, right? So let's go ahead and use that. So for now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to wipe these drives out and make it a clean entry. Before that, I'm going to go into FS tab and take all this out. I'm going to run dd input file equals slash dev sdd of. What I'm doing is I'm wiping this drive and this drive off, and then we're going to start fresh. Okay, and then byte size equals 1K.
Mrs. Zafar, will the byte size ever be anything different than 1K?
It could be anything. Okay, so in reality, if we go to our DD size, byte size, what I'm doing here is I'm just killing the first byte, how do I say, sector, and it will kill the drive. Okay, in fact I'm canceling this out, and I'll show you in a minute here what I'm talking about. Okay.
Yeah, I remember, but I was just trying to figure out, like, basically, like, in the real world, how would we know what byte size to use if we're like on a job or?
Well, if you're killing the drive, you use this. And if you're creating a blank file, this duplication here, right? So you go in here. So you do this. This is a complete copy here. You're doing the copy. But if you're doing it, create a large file here. Byte size you're giving equals 2 GB. So it will create a file which will be a 2 GB size. Since I'm doing like 0 and then the output here is creating the file name. You're giving the file name in here. Over here, instead of file name, if I write this to the disk, then it's gonna write all the zeros to it. Okay. So here, this duplicate input file 0. And output file is this drive here, and then I'm just using only 1 kilobytes of this, so that the moment it starts writing to it, the zeros, it will kill the drive, it will kill the data on the drive and keep it clean. So
can we use like 5 TB?
It could be any size. Right now this disk is 16 GB, right? So what I did was I just killed the one sectors here. So let's see here. So I'm taking, like, when you look at this here, I'm taking one sector here, one little sector here. I'm killing that sector, and what it will do is it will make the drive go, the partition, it will delete the partition on it, and then we will have a clean drive, okay? So if you do lsblk, it might still show there, or you have to do part probe. Okay, it's still there. So what I'm gonna do is I have to unmount it first, actually. Yeah. The command to unmount is umount, guys, okay? Not unmount. D. Okay, it's gone, but what I'll do is I'll restart the system here also. Okay, so we are ready. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna follow along and create the LVM script here. Okay, so what will happen is it will automatically create the scripts for you. So let's see here. I'm sorry, not the script, but it will create the LVMs. So before that, let's go ahead and take a break here. What time is it now? Okay, so 15 minutes. So we'll be back at 1:45. Okay, we'll take a break now for 15 minutes.
Okay.
All right. It will be the same exact for a few thousand servers here, so you don't have to. So other departments, it would be the same exact thing. So what you have to do is you don't really have to have like an open script. You could do it as specific to that department. So you could write as a script specific to that department, and it has to has these many hard drives. Then it will take care of that. Okay. So like the one we did last time, like enter and asking the user to put too many times, that is causing a problem. So we'll just write it very, very simple.
Okay.
Okay, so all right. Okay, so we did this for adding a physical drive, and all right, so let's follow this along, and then we'll create a script for it. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. So what I'm going to do is so first what we need to do is we need to identify the drives here. Okay, so 1, 2, 3 drives. So here we are going to use, we have enough space here, right, between these 3 drives. Yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to clear it, and then I'm going to copy template, and then I'm going to say Lvm Script .scr. I'm going to go Lvm Script.lvr, and I'm going to go in here and say this is a Lvm Script. Okay, so what we'll do is so I'm gonna take an output of lsblk, and I'm gonna copy this here. I'm gonna put something.
Mr. Zafar, I have some part probes. I have some partitions in my one of my disks. Should I just delete them?
Yeah, go ahead and delete them. And then before that, make sure you take it out of FS tab. When you reboot it, that will cause the problem.
Okay.
So everything is in front of us here. So what I'm going to do is copy the commands in here.
Mr. Zafar, one more thing. How do you undo from the VI editor?
Just escape and do U on the keyboard.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, whenever you have chance, make sure you practice VI editor, guys. You need that.
Yeah.
Because we are doing nothing but in a black window, you know. So you have to take care of it. Okay. So I copy this. I'll paste it in here, okay? And in here, what I'm gonna say is echo PV create is running. Okay? Alright. So what will happen here is these are static. We're not giving anything dynamic here, okay? So the only thing you have to make sure is you're using SDB, SDC, and SDD. So here I'm using C, D, and E. Okay, so I'm using C, D, B, and D. So I'm following along everything in here. Okay. Then I'm gonna create a volume group. Echo script is creating VG. What is the VG is creating ZMPT1. Okay, and so far I didn't do anything. Okay, this part we have already I'm copying this from what we have already done. So we don't have to do VG display for the script. All it's gonna do is it's gonna run through that. Copy, paste, and now we don't need to do all this here. And then what I'm gonna do is copy this part, and everything else is a repeat, right? You just have to know the concept. Everything else is almost all the time in the scripting world, anywhere world, copy and paste. You just have to know what exactly you're copying and pasting. See, what am I doing here? Copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste, nothing else. I'm gonna give myself a note here. Echo creating accounting LV. Okay, if you don't want to, you don't have to. It just look appealing on the eyes here. Okay, so I'm gonna contact finance.
Mrs. Zafar, for your ZMPT, is that just the root name?
No, VG name.
VGA?
VG name, volume group.
No. At the top where it says VG create ZPMT1. Yeah, exactly. in there.
Yeah, so it's telling that a script is creating volume group. So it's creating a volume group right here. You know what a volume group is, right?
Yeah, but you're doing it like fresh, right? So I can put any name. It doesn't have to be ZMPT1.
No,
right?
no. You have to.
Okay.
In fact, you should do it your own.
Yeah.
And now,
Okay, just make it.
echo script is creating associated directories. Okay, so I'm gonna paste it here. It's doing mkdir accounting, mkdir finance, mkdir HR, The only thing that script will break is if you misspelled something. Okay, that's when script is gonna break. Okay, and then I'm gonna say script is creating what is script is creating here is a file system. So VG display. So you don't need to rush into anything. Okay, you have to use it as a cool head when you're creating this. Well, you're gonna test it out one time before it goes into production anyway. So here, look here, we are missing MKFS here. I think we ran into this problem here when we are actually creating this at that moment. Yeah, we are missing a MKFS for accounting. In the instructions. So now what I'm going to do is make file system here. In fact, what I could do is I could put that over here, echo creating file system. And then I'm going to copy this here one more time. And I'm going to change it to accounting here, right? Okay, so the file system is created. Now the directory is there. Okay, directories are created. Now what I'm going to do is I'm not going to mount it here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to skip this part. And then I'm going to making FS tab entries. Echo now what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this part here. So how am I going to make the FS tab entries? Echo. I'm going to do this. And I'm going to do etc FS tab, okay? And I'm going to copy, paste 3 times. Now you must be wondering what I'm doing here. In each line, I'm going to put this in this between the quotes. There you go. you gotta be very manipulative here. How you see something in there, you gotta have to just use your head and see how exactly you could save time. Instead of typing this out, I just typed it once, and then what am I doing here? I'm not like doing anything scientific here. I'm just copying and pasting it and then saving my time here. And okay, so if I stretch this out, now it looks really good. Does it look good on your eyes?
Yes, I have quick questions.
Yes.
This we created the directory and LVM. We should create the directory first or LVM. It doesn't matter.
Um, Up until here, it doesn't matter. It matters when it doesn't matter which way you do it because nothing is being mounted yet. Once it's time to mount it, then it matters.
Okay. Because these are all files.
Which one? This one?
LVM.
Yeah, LVM is also a file. Everything in Linux is a file. And make
Yes.
sure you
So-
create it. Yeah, go ahead.
So it's when we mount, then
The order doesn't matter up until you're going to do mount -a.
okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. And okay, so mount -a. When you do mount -a, you're literally mounting it from the FS tab. Okay, look here.
Mrs. Zafar,
Yeah, go ahead.
what did you? How many gigabytes did you put for finance? How much space?
So finance. I mean, follow along. Look at the document. Don't you have a document in front of you? Okay, you may not have space in your screen. Yeah, the file accounting is 4 GB
Uh huh.
and finance is 6
Uh huh.
and HR is 2 and recruiting is 4 GB.
4.
Make sure you're typing it or spacing it out exactly the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah, that's the. How is this? Is it a specific way for everyone?
I mean, LV create then a space -n space
Oh,
HR.
yeah.
Make sure you're doing the HR name correctly because down on the bottom it has to match here.
Mm-hmm.
When you're mounting it, you have to match here. So you're saving about 5 lines in here because each time you have to mount this, mount that. Instead of you have to make FS tab entry anyway, so you just using the FS tab entry and then you're doing this.
Okay, and it's capital sensitive, right?
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah.
Okay. Okay, I'll follow along once it's over.
Okay, so mount -a, and then we're gonna do df-h.
Do we have to comment that out?
Comment what out?
Check the mount route.
If you put in echo, yeah. No, it will do it for us.
It won't come up on the screen?
It will. This is just for you, right? df-h?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's do df-h. And look, now what we're gonna do is, and let me see lsblk. So you see all these drives are sitting there and getting wasted. So I'm gonna open a new session.
Do we have the part probe in the script?
Not necessarily, but very good question though. Very good. I like it. I like your thinking. Where are you going to part probe it? Where is a good place to do the part probe? Right here.
Before the.
Yeah. Echo. Performing part probe. And that's it. You just type part probe. So we'll see how this change is gonna go. Okay, to me everything looks good to me. So we are still, normally you do this on a test machine, okay? You will have access to, I have access to a lot of test machines at my own disposal. I could do a lot of testing before I do anything to the development of QA boxes. Or send it out the final script. So let me go ahead and run the script here. Remember how long it took for us to do that, okay? Now it took the whole class for us to do the LVM. Boom, once you do one time, we created a script. Now we're gonna run the script now, and we'll take a look how this is gonna help us. Oh man. Yes. 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 Boom. There you go. Do you see that? It's beautiful. You do LSBLK here. This is what exactly we want. Accounting, HR, finance, recruiting. Now what you're going to do is you're going to take this script and run this on hundreds of computers. You go home, come back, it will be ready in the morning for you. And to do that, we're going to start using Ansible. Ansible is the one that will help you work on multiple computers simultaneously.
So even though the file exists and there was something going on, it still kept going on with the.
No, the file it detected. Oh yeah, the file existed because I forgot to remove it here, because since we have already did it manually when this class was running on, the file was there, so it will skip it. Yeah. No. So if this would have been no file anything, it would have run just fine without any problem. Okay. But it did went through. Okay, that means it was successful. In a real world scenario, you'll be testing it before you really do it. Okay. Yeah, so I didn't follow through it here. I should have removed this. So it says making cannot create file exists. That means this part is just creating a silly for a directory. So what we are really interested in, it ran through all that without any problem. You have any questions?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Mr. Zafar, could you please go to the script again?
Yeah.
You're gonna copy and paste it, right?
Yeah, definitely. So I'm gonna go to script. Don't worry about the echo parts here. Just what I did was I copied this part from this here, what we have already done. This part. Okay, it's executing that. And this part.
So why did we do anything with preview create with /dev/SDE? It created the accounting, finance, HR, and recruiting in the SDD and SDC. It didn't do anything in the SDE.
Yeah, that's the beauty of LVM. I think I already explained you. We used in here SDC, SDD, and SDE, right? So what it's doing here is it will go in the order here wherever, since we are not using too much here, this is 8 GB. So this is 2 and this is 2. So we still have some disk space here. The next one we need is 6, right? So can 6 fit in here? No, so it created on here. And then in fact, you would see here, if this would have been a bigger size, it would spread on here too. You could see finance here, or if the recruiting was a bigger size, you will see it here also, 2 places. Okay, it will automatically manage it for you. Okay, you don't have to worry about the partitions doing it manually here, because unlike Fdisk, LVM is managing it for you.
Okay.
So in one scenario here, I think we have the output here, right? Over here, if the size of the physical drive would have been smaller, it will spread it out and it will show it here. So if we would have used this here, since we use like 24 GB, now I mean, you know what, let's see here. So we did 4 plus 2, 6 plus 12 and 18. So our requirement is much smaller than what we already have available here. If you do VGS, we have about 32 GB, and out of that we are using only 18 GB. Oh, I'm sorry, 48 GB, and out of that we are using only 18 GB. So more you add, it will spread out, okay? You don't have to worry about it.
Creating recruiting.
Okay, so that's the end of scripting. How much time we got? We have enough time here. So let's go ahead and prepare ourselves for let's prepare ourselves for
Ansible.
yeah, Ansible. So I'm gonna shut this down. Alright, how much memory I have on this system here? Let's check this. I have only 8 GB here, right? So what I'm gonna do is let's go ahead and everybody go to your original go to your original copy, okay, and clone that, and then give it a name. Give it a name Ansible Master. Ansible Master, okay? And then next, and then do a full clone. In fact, what I was thinking I should do DNS first before I do Ansible. You know, but go ahead and let's follow me and let's get this ready first. Okay, so for Ansible Master, go in there and add, we have disk 1, disk 2, and add 2 more disks in here, okay? Create a new disk, and the size we want is you could leave it 8 GB, and then give it a name. Give it a name disk 3. Disk 3, okay. And then add another drive, so 8 GB, right, that one, and create new, and then I'm gonna say disk 4. Yeah, leave it 8 GB because this time around I'm gonna show you how the LVM spreads around. Okay, so This 1, this 2, this 3, this 4. Yeah, leave it 8 GB is fine. Okay, now for Ansible master, go ahead and right click on it.
Oh, Mr. Zafar, were you doing that for SATA or the controller? IDE.
No, I mean, go into storage and then click control and then do the plus sign on this.
Okay, I did it for the wrong one.
Yeah. Not the optical, the hard drive.
Because I don't have the disk manager 1 and 2.
Say that again.
I don't have disk 1 and 2 for the Ansible manager.
Whatever it is, add. If you have like 1, right? 1 is there already.
Yeah, 1 is there already.
So add 4 more.
Right.
So select this
first
here,
two
do a plus,
size?
and give it a name. This 1, this 2, this 3, whatever.
What's the size for them?
Give all of them 8. Give all of them 8 and 116.
Okay, so this 116 and then the rest 8.
Yeah. I'll put it in the document. So I'm gonna say DNS here. What you might want to do is So here I'm going to put down, oh, come on. I'm going to put down disk, one disk is something like 16 GB. Okay, the second one is 8 GB. The third one would gonna be, oh god, it's not working. And this is 16. This is 8 GB. And this one is 8 GB. And this one is 8 GB. Tell Abdullah to be ready if you want to go outside. Yeah, I know. And 8 GB, okay? Is that good enough now? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So now what I'll do is I'll put this in here. Uh-oh. Copy it. And then let's do this here. Okay, now let's clone this. Okay, so I'm gonna do clone, and I'm gonna say Ansible client 01. Get rid of Ansible. Just type client -01, and then we're gonna do all the way to 01 to 05. Now go ahead and do it. Clone client 02. Zero 04. 05. 5 is good enough, okay, guys?
Mm.
So, okay, so create a and okay. Ansible host setup. Okay, so we are just doing the setup here first. Okay, we're gonna set up DNS first, and then after that we'll come back here. Okay. So now what I'm gonna do is go ahead and clone this again. Clone and give it a name DNS master, not master, primary. Next, clone. And then right click again, give DNS secondary. So DNS has two servers working together, primary and secondary. Okay, there's a lot of things I need to tell you about DNS. DNS is very
Why is
important. Huh?
I was gonna say, why is there two?
So DNS is like a crown jewel in the networking system of the company, okay? So what hackers try to do is if the DNS goes down, the whole company goes down. It is very, very guarded, highly secure, and if you know DNS, you will be getting a very high paid job. Okay, $140,000 a year, no problem. I'm gonna show you inside out about DNS, how it's working, and once you get really good practice on it, you will be really, really good position. Okay, so now the reason DNS is highly guarded is because, as I mentioned a minute ago, if the network goes down, I mean, hackers, when they try to hack a company, if they want to bring the company down, they will go into DNS. Usually, if the DNS goes down, usually it's an inside job. I could tell you for sure. And that they do happen, guys. I mean, don't be surprised if you hear in your career the DNS went down. The company literally goes bankrupt. In here, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna split this, and the name would be how is the naming conventions gonna be? Let me check. I thought we had did the naming convention, right? Somewhere. Host name. So we'll keep this here. Copy. In here, I'm gonna say paste it here, but I'm gonna say instead of ZMPT, I'm gonna say DNS 01, and it's gonna be 02. Okay, let's see here. I'm gonna go DNS primary. And the second one will be DNS secondary, okay? The name. All right. Secondary dot prod dot zmprotech.com. Yeah, this is getting complicated here. What I'm gonna do is dnsprimary.zmpt.com. Okay, let's keep it that way. And then DNS secondary zmpt.com, and here all this is gonna be let me split this here. So all this is gonna be same thing, Ansible master Ansible, let's do ansible01.zmpt.com. okay, and this one, everything else will be client 01.zmpt.com, and everything else here. So we have total of 5, right? So so this would be 05, 04, 03, 02, 01. Okay, this is how it's going to be all named here. Okay, all right, very good. So how much time we got here? We got good 10 minutes. So let's start working on DNS first, then we'll come back to Ansible in a minute, after we're done with DNS here, because I want to show off how this is working. So what is DNS? DNS is nothing but a phone book here. Okay, so like here in your phone, either you could keep the number as a number, or you could assign a name to the number, right?
It changes the name to an IP address, or an IP address to a name.
They're true. So yeah, I kind of like this one here. Okay, so this is literally a phone book of the internet, and what humans access information online through the names. Okay, like New York Times, ESPN. Web browser interacts through the IP address. DNS translate names into the browser here. Okay, it looks good here. So now, how is this working here? Let's take a look. So for my website here, if you do, so if you have like a name, or if you have like a phone number, so if I have a phone number here, right, my phone number is 773-800-1250, and this is associated with me, right? This is how you do it. And then what about the website? So if you have a website here, the web address is actually this. It's different. So you could use the ping command to find out the web address here. So this is the website address for me. This is where it's being hosted. So at least, so this would become a the online IP address here. Okay, so when you type zmprotech.com, it will, in the background, it will go and it would forward there. So my website is not hosted dedicatedly. It's being hosted on a shared server here. But let's see. If you do ping cnn.com, if you type this IP address in the browser, it will take us to the CNN website. Uh-oh. Why is it not going? Let's see Google. Yeah, go ahead.
Is it secure?
A what?
For security reason, is going not showing or error? Or?
Hello?
Is
Hello?
it encrypted, Mr. Zafar?
No, maybe that website is being hosted on a shared server. But if you type google.com, Google is CNN is probably outsourced this website to somebody else like me. If you type this IP address 172.21.4, and then it will take you to google.com. Let me open this browser here. So this IP address is a Google IP address. When I put that in the browser, it will take me to Google. So for humans, we're not going to remember, we won't be able to remember all these numbers here, right? There's going to be thousands of numbers here. Instead, we remember the name, so we type the name in. Okay? That's what it is. It's nothing more than that. But to set up a DNS is a complex steps. So I already have a picture here. Let me put the picture in there. And so I'm copying this picture from my other class. So what happens here is you are your computer here, right? If you're gonna go into this website here, the computer doesn't know where to go. So, but what browser does is it will automatically go to the public DNS server here. So DNS servers are, you can look it up actually, public DNS servers. So these are maintained by the big corporations and some non-profit big universities. They maintain a DNS server here so that people could go there and register it. So when you register your domain, if you go and register your domain Austin or whatever, it's gonna go into the DNS entry in one of this server here, down here. It will replicate on these servers around the world. So your computer doesn't know it for the first time. It goes from here to DNS server and finds out, okay, DNS server will give the IP address, then it will connect to that IP address. Okay, simple as that. Nothing more complicated than this, okay? All right. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fire up the DNS server here.
Everyone,
What?
the primary server, DNS primary.
Yeah. Fire it up, and we're just gonna give the proper name, and then we're gonna shut it down. Today we're not gonna do anything more than what we do.
Okay.
And here are the instructions on changing the computer name. Okay, go in here, host name, and then this is where you change the computer name.
Mhm.
VIETC host name. First you have to log in and find out the IP address.
And that's the same password that we've been using, right? The Red Hat.
Yeah. We cloned it so it wouldn't change.
Mhm.
So the IP address here I have is you could use either 192.168.56.112. And this one is 114. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say 192.168.56.112, and I'm gonna put it in here as DNS master. Primary, sorry. And then this one is 114. Secondary. So let's go ahead and go into primary and secondary. Root. Oh God, it won't work. So if you type host name, is this number here, right? So go to VI etc host name. Get rid of this. In here, put in what we're gonna do it is DNS primary.gmpt.com. Okay, just save and exit. If you go ahead and restart, it will take effect. And then let's go into the DNS secondary. Do the same thing, log in as root. And host name obviously is not there, so VIETC host name. Delete this, and what did we select for ours? dnssecondary.zmpt.com, right? Yeah. dnssecondary.zmpt.com. Okay, so when you log back in, it should give you the host name there. See, host name is there. ZM primary, DNS primary dot, and restart. There you go, dnssecondary.gmpt.com. That's it. All right, that's it for today. If you get a chance, go ahead and change the name for all of them here. Make sure all these are lowercase. Normally, you don't put the host name uppercase or any. It doesn't have to be grammatically correct. Okay, so go ahead and save this, and yeah, that's it for today, and then we'll pick it up where we left off tomorrow, or I mean next class.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Any questions you guys have, put it in the chat, and then we'll go from there. All right, everybody have a good day. Bye.
All right, so this is the